Okay, so now guys, let me start. So today we are going to study about iOS and the device configuration. Okay, we are going to study the iOS and device configuration. Okay, so now let me tell you about iOS. iOS is the, have you heard of iOS?
Yes.
If you have heard of iOS, this iOS, that is something else. Okay, you have, yes, you have, yes, OSI? No, not at all. Okay, so you have iOS like this, iOS.
Internet operating system.
Nope, it's not internet. Whatever you guess might be going wrong, so let me tell you. Okay, so inter-network operating system. Okay, internet, okay. Internet, the full form of internet itself is inter-network. Okay, but it's really inter-network or inter-networking operating system. iOS. Okay, so now in this one, first let me tell you what is this iOS. Okay, so I told you internet networking operating system, and say this is the operating system in the Cisco routers. So in the routers and switches also you got operating system. In the computers you know about the operating system, right? Windows, Linux and all. Now let me tell you, in routers and switches also you got operating system. Okay, and Cisco routers and Cisco switches say they have iOS as the operating system. Clear? Okay, now let me tell you, so here internet network operating system, OS used in Cisco routers is iOS. Okay, and say an OS consists of, or an operating system consists of two parts, a kernel part and a shell part. The kernel part which interacts with the hardware, and the shell part which interacts with the user. It's not a software, it's a user. Okay, now again, while going into the production you might hear many terms. Want to make you sit here? Okay, yes. Now, so iOS say was later rebuilt as iOS XE and iOS XR. So while going into the production you might hear different names. So those are like rebuilt. Okay, iOS XE and iOS XR are rebuilt versions of iOS. Okay, now so just to understand, let me tell you certain iOS releases. iOS release can be compared to, say, the trial version. Suppose that I am comparing everything with the Windows. Okay, so the Windows, suppose if they are releasing the Windows 7 or something, they'll give us the trial version, right? Say the evaluation one, or say for 30 days you can use it like that, right? So that is the early deployment. New features and new platforms support in addition to bug fixes. Okay, so they'll come up with certain new versions on certain new platforms. So that's the early deployment, and that is, say, free of cost. Okay, now limited deployment do not include any new features or platform, but do include bug fixes. Now let me tell you, so this limited platform is what you need to purchase. Okay, then general deployment. General deployment means the usual. So let me tell you how we are gonna purchase this iOS. Okay, actually when you purchase the router, you will purchase the operating system along with it. When you purchase the router, you will be purchasing the operating system along with it, and that is called a general deployment, used anywhere in a customer network with the same feature and functionality requirements. So what you're going to do is that you will approach Cisco systems. You will approach Cisco systems and you will tell that this is your requirement. So this much requirement is there for you, this much machines need to be connected, these features needs to be implemented, like that you will tell your requirement. And Cisco, they will suggest you certain, say, versions of OS or certain like devices they'll suggest you. Okay, so that's how we'll purchase the, say, the router or the networking device. Now you got one more called maintenance deployment, additional support for bug fixes and the ongoing. It's just the maintenance. It will be having, say, some maintenance, or the bug fixes or those things will be there in the maintenance deployment. Okay, so just the theory portions. Okay, the first, again, for the first half an hour will be definitely theory portion. Okay, now the next thing, iOS classifications. It's called iOS classifications. So based on the company requirements, so if you have company requirements such as, say, suppose you want to use security, advanced security features, or if at all you want to implement, say, VPN, or if at all you want to implement more features related to security, then you will be preferring advanced security image. There will be a lot of images. Okay, now advanced enterprise is actually for, say, enterprise services, or it will support, you can say, almost everything. Okay, now IP services, the usual service, the IP services, and also you got different iOS classification, which I have given you in this table here. Maybe you can go when I upload you can check it when I upload this PowerPoint. Okay, now the next thing is the iOS version. So first let me tell you, Cisco routers, you have many, say, type of devices, many type of routers itself. So suppose, let me tell you, many series of routers itself. So let me tell you, say, ASR series router. Examples are ASR series router and ISR series router. So ASR series router can be used in the bigger environments, can be used in the data center environments, or can be used in the bigger environments. Now ISR series router can be used, say, in the smaller or the small or medium companies. Okay, so just going with some terms, that's it. So you got of ASR series, ISR series, many series of routers are there. Similarly, many switch series are also there. Okay, say you might, or when you go to the data center, I suppose, not here, I suppose. Okay, maybe in my 8 AM batch, I had a student from data center. I have a student. Okay, not in your batch, I suppose. Okay, so Cisco will have many types of, or many series of routers, each used for different levels. Okay, now let me again tell you. So now, say, in ISR series itself, you got lot of models. You got lot of models. Okay, so you got a lot of series of routers, and in each series, suppose 2500 series, or I really don't remember that, say, yeah, 5000, I really don't know whether it's ISR or ASR. Okay, say I'm familiar with 1900 series, okay, or 1800 series. So in these series and all, say, again you got different models. Maybe 1841 is there, or say 18 some other values will be there. Again, different models of routers are there. Getting it? Okay, so again, so first let me tell you, so this is how you represent the iOS version. So iOS, you can see, and you can see a number C2500. It means it is Cisco 2500 series router. It is 2500 series router. Okay, and the 2500 series itself will have 2C, 2521 or some other model numbers also. Okay, so now this iOS belongs to C2500. Okay, and J stands for enterprise and S stands for plus. JS. J stands for enterprise and S stands for plus. Okay, it is used in the enterprise. Okay, now just to understand, that's it, nothing more. Okay, there. Okay, now again you got some numbers as well. Okay, so if I tell you that the version is, say, here you got the number 1209 or 1501 or some M1 like that, it means 15 is the major version. Say iOS, the major version is 15, and 15 will have minor versions as well, 15.1, iOS 15.2, iOS 15.3, like that you will have minor versions. Okay, now this is the feature release. They have introduced a new feature inside that. Okay, and at last you have something called, this one is the rebuilt number. It's a rebuilt number. Okay, so this is how you will represent the iOS. So first you need to understand this is the major version, minor version, feature release, and this is the rebuilt. Clear, guys? Okay, now again, okay, so this is the hardware of the router. Okay, you can see, I might have told you that, say, the router is a box. That's it, it's a box. Okay, so this box here, you can see many, say, these are the ports, or really these are the interfaces. These are the interfaces. These are called interfaces. Okay, so you got some interfaces called serial interface, and some interfaces called fast Ethernet interface and all. Okay, so you can see, can you see at the back clearly? Okay, now, so these are the fast Ethernet interfaces. Okay, and you can see something like this as well. See this one, it's a bigger port, it's having lines like this, something like this. So this is called the serial interface. It's called the serial interface. You can see this one also. This is also a serial interface. This is also a serial interface. Okay, now you can see some ports as well. So this is the console port, auxiliary port. You can see ports also. Okay, and you can see the power switch. You can see the power switch. Okay, you can turn on or turn it off. Okay, now you can see the power cord. This is where you will connect the power supply or the power cable, right? So this is the main thing, or whatever, say we can see, these are the things that we can see in the routers. Okay, now again let me tell you. So where is it? Okay, yes, so you can see the Cisco router series. Okay, I might have told you about ASR and ISR series. ASR used for enterprise and service provider, it's used for bigger environments, and ISR is for customers with small or medium sized network. Okay, just wanted to introduce some terms to you, that's it. Okay, again many series of routers are there, we are not gonna touch those things and all for now. Okay, now again, so you can see this is a Cisco 1800 series switch, router. Okay, so like that you have 19 series router. Okay, like that you have 26 series router. So you have lot of routers. 72 series 72XX series router. Okay, now let me tell you. Now we are going into the router components. So first you have a root processor. It's called root processor, or of course it might be having CPU, right? That's the root processor. Okay, and you know it about the processor. It controls everything. It is the main functional part, or it controls everything. Okay, now you got RAM as well. RAM is random access memory, and I might have taught you that RAM contains a running configuration. RAM contains running configuration. Whatever you run, it will be there in the RAM. Clear? So it is very important. RAM contains running configuration. Okay, now ROM contains, say ROM, I have already told you, read-only memory. You will burn some programs into it, and one such program is the POST, power on self-test. Okay, in case or when you turn on the power, they will test itself, right? Now, and in addition to POST, it again contains one more value called mini IOS. Mini IOS, which I'll tell you later. Okay, so ROM contains POST, and also it contains mini IOS. Okay, now you got flash memory. You got flash memory, a type of EEPROM, or electrically erasable and programmable ROM. Okay, so this flash memory, or just a moment, my internet is okay, it's okay now. So I suppose, say you got flash memory. So this flash memory, let me tell you, so this is where you will store the IOS. This is where you will store the IOS. So the IOS will be stored, or it can be stored in the flash memory. Okay, it can be the inbuilt flash memory, or it can be a smart card as well, a flash card as well. Clear? Okay, now next you have NVRAM, a new component. It's called NVRAM. NVRAM means non-volatile RAM. Non-volatile RAM. Okay, it means it is random access memory, but it is non-volatile. That means, let me tell you, RAM contains a running configuration. RAM contains running configuration. Okay, and let me again tell you, this running configuration, say whatever that you have it in the RAM, it's volatile. It is volatile. Suppose you are configuring something. You are configuring something. Sorry. After configuring, say let me tell you, if you configure and later if you turn off the power, what happens? Whatever that you configured will be gone, because say whatever you are configured is in the RAM, and say it's a volatile. That means if the power is turned off, then the value will be gone. lost, right? So what you need to do is that you need to save it. You need to save these things, right? So you can save it to non-volatile RAM. You can save it to non-volatile RAM. And when you save the running configuration to non-volatile RAM, that is called startup configuration. When you save the running configuration to NVRAM, then that is called startup configuration. Getting it? It's startup because whenever the router is loaded, then this configuration will be, or whenever the router is reloaded, okay, this configuration, the startup or whenever the router is started, okay, the router starts, this configuration will be loaded, and that's why it's called startup configuration. Clear? Okay. Now you got some more things here. You got something called port, okay, and you got some parts called interfaces. So interface means you are really connecting, using the interfaces, you are connecting to the network. So let me write, or let me draw it to you. Say here, suppose that you have some computers here. You have some computers. Okay. These computers can be connected to a switch. And from the switch you will connect it to the router. Okay. Suppose this is the router. And let me again tell you, so again you will have another set of switch here and another set of computers. Okay, and this can be of one range. It can be 192.168.10.0/24 network, and this can be of 192.168.20.0/24 network. So both are different networks. So you have studied that, say, the router or different networks are used to different networks are connected through router. Okay, so you are connected it to router, so that means you are connected it to some connecting slots or connecting port. So it's not really the port, it is the interface to which you have connected. So interface is used to connect to network. Okay, so here another interface, you are connected to interface. Now the router will have different types of interfaces. Let me tell you the basic type of interfaces, or the basic interfaces here. Okay, so the basic interfaces are, say, Ethernet interface. So let me write it bigger. Ethernet interface, which comes in Ethernet standard. This is network standard. These are the interfaces. Okay, and these are the bandwidth. So Ethernet interface has a bandwidth of 10 Mbps. It has a bandwidth of 10 Mbps. Now you got something called fast Ethernet interface, which is of the same Ethernet standard, and it has a bandwidth of 100 Mbps. Okay, now you got another gigabit Ethernet interface. And the network standard is Ethernet standard, and the bandwidth is 1 Gbps. And you got 10 gigabit Ethernet interface. Ethernet standard, it is having bandwidth of 10 Gbps. You got different Ethernet standard interfaces. Okay, so this is the required one for now. Okay, now you got another interface as well. It's called serial interface. It's of WAN standard or serial standard, or you can say WAN standard. And the base bandwidth is 1.544 Mbps. base bandwidth is 1.544 Mbps. So again you have different interfaces, BRI, PR and all. We are not going to discuss those things. Okay, for now this much is relevant. Okay, now again let me tell you, for Ethernet standard here, say the Ethernet interface works in half duplex. It works in half duplex. So the transmission mode half duplex, while the others for fast Ethernet gigabit and say 10 gigabit, they are full duplex by default. Full duplex. Clear? Okay. So these are the interfaces. Okay. Now let me tell you, or do you want to write it down? Or done? Done. Okay. So you have Ethernet interface, fast Ethernet and all, right? So the Ethernet and the fast Ethernet and all will look like this. Say, where is it? It may look like this. So you can see it here. It looks like an RJ45 connector. It looks like an RJ45 connector. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Clear? Okay. Now, so you can directly plug in the RJ45 pin into it. Okay. Now you can see the serial interfaces. You can see the serial interfaces. To connect those serial interfaces, serial cables are used. Serial cables are used. And let me again tell you, serial connection, we use it to connect to WAN. So now let me tell you what is WAN. WAN means wide area network. Okay, so it means, suppose you have a branch. You have a branch in Bangalore. Okay, and you have a branch in Mumbai. You have a branch in Bangalore and you have a branch in Mumbai. So again, if you have a branch in Bangalore and if you have a branch in Mumbai, say suppose you have a Bangalore router and a Mumbai router. So now here, from Bangalore to Mumbai, to connect these devices, say suppose R1 and R2, to connect these devices, we would be seeking the help of service provider. We would be seeking the help of service provider. It is not ISP but SP, service provider you can call it, because ISP is internet service provider. It is not the internet service which is actually used here. It is the WAN service. Or you can call it WAN service provider. Okay, so example, let's say Airtel or say Vodafone, like that. Okay, so you will be say going to Airtel office and you will be telling, okay, I got a branch in this location in Bangalore and I want to connect to this location, this branch in Mumbai. Okay, so you will have to provide me with WAN service. Okay, then what they are going to do is that they will provide the WAN service. So from our office, Bangalore office, we will connect to the service provider's office. Okay, before that again let me tell you, so from our router we will first connect to the ISP device. We'll first connect to ISP device. So this is ISP device and this will be present in our office. Okay, so this device will be present in our office, and from this ISP device in our office you will connect to the ISP office. Okay, so ISP office in Bangalore. And this ISP office is called POP. It's called POP, or point of presence. Okay, now from this point of presence you will again connect to another office or another point of presence. Maybe from Bangalore to Mumbai if you want to connect. Okay, really I don't know the way. Okay, so if from Bangalore to Mumbai, anyone who has gone from Bangalore to Mumbai or gone from Mumbai to Bangalore? No. Okay, suppose Goa is in between, right? Okay, so suppose you got Goa in between, so you will say go to, or it will be connected to Goa branch or the Goa ISP office. Okay, then it will be connected to say suppose say somewhere. Okay, not Gujarat. Gujarat is again north. Okay, No. If you go and somebody will be asking me like, okay, why do you know to go to Gujarat and not to go to Mumbai? Okay, so suppose Pune, I'm not sure about it. Okay, suppose you are going from Bangalore to Mumbai through Pune. Okay, so then you will connect to Pune POP. Okay, means the point of presence in Pune. Okay, and again you will then connect to the Mumbai office. Okay, so the Mumbai POP or point of presence. Okay, so you have reached Mumbai. Now from Mumbai point of presence, we will connect it to the ISP device which is present in our office. In our office, when you are like working in a say a company or something, you will see a cabin, or this ISP device will be given a separate cabin. Okay, and it will be say or separate cabin or separate cage or something like that, and only the ISP, or it's not the ISP again, it's the service provider. Okay, it's the WAN service provider. So this WAN, again, this service provider. So the service provider machine will be separately located. Okay, and only the service provider say officers or the service provider say engineers will be allowed to go into that cabin. Okay, now from that service provider device we will connect it to our device. Clear? So this is the WAN connection. This is the WAN connection. Okay, so actually I usually tell this thing in the separate section called WAN section. Okay, now that I told in here, I suppose you have understood, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let me tell you, here you got multiple offices in between. You got multiple offices and multiple devices in between. So now what I'm gonna do is that, so here let me again tell you, so this connection is called leased line connection. This connection is called leased line connection. Okay, now let me tell leased line connection, or it's also called say dedicated line connection. It's also called dedicated line connection. It is dedicated, this path is dedicated for us, so that means it is secured path. Now coming, so here we got R1, this is our router, and R2 is another router. So R1 is then connected to a service provider device through serial interface. Okay, so now let me tell you, so or I can draw like this from R1 to R2, say I'm skipping everything in between, and I'm writing, say I'm just drawing it as a zigzag line. So that means we have skipped all the devices in between. Clear? Okay, so I'm telling like I have connected from this serial to another serial. So this is the Bangalore router and this is the Mumbai router. So that doesn't mean that I have connected it directly. In between you have multiple devices and multiple offices, and there we have just skipped it. Clear? Okay, so this is the WAN connection. Okay, now if you have Bangalore location, so you got Bangalore location. In the Bangalore location you will have multiple switches and multiple computers. Clear? And this might be one network. Say suppose this is 192.168.10.0/24 network. Okay, and now here you got a switch, and this will be having another set of computers. Okay, and this might be another network, 192.168.20.0/24 network. Clear? Okay. And this might be another network as well. So to router connection, this is also connected using interfaces. So this can be another network. Clear? Okay, so now, so interfaces are used to connect to network. Okay, that's the say final thing that I want to tell you. Okay, now you got ports as well. You got ports. Just understand, ports are used to configure the router. You got 3 ports actually, so where you will be studying only about 2 ports. The first port is called console port. It's called console port. And the second one is called auxiliary port. Okay, and the third one is called VTY port. VTY means virtual teletype. Console port, auxiliary port, and VTY port. Okay, now. Okay guys, now let me tell you, we'll be studying about console port. Now a little later we'll study about console port. Now auxiliary port, you know, don't need to study the auxiliary port because it's not nowadays used. Okay, it's not used nowadays. Now VTY port we'll study later. VTY port and how to access the router through VTY port we'll study it later. Okay, now let me tell you. So these are the ports and the interfaces. Okay, now let me tell you the next thing. Okay, router booting procedure. Okay, so now let me take it, this one, where is it? So router booting procedure. Now let me tell you, I suppose you can see it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now, so we got the router here which is in the off state and it is turned on. When it is turned on, at first post will take place, power on, self test. Okay, and let me again tell you, so you got a bootstrap program in RAM. If the post is successful, this bootstrap program will check for a value. It will check for a value and it will check whether this value is called configuration register value. It's called configuration register value. So this value says from where you need to load the iOS and the startup configuration. From where you need to load the iOS and the startup configuration. You have two values to study. Sorry, the first value is called 0x2102. The first value is called 0x2102. So if it is 0x2102, let me tell you, the iOS will be found, or the iOS will be, say, taken from the flash memory, or the iOS will be loaded from the flash memory, and the iOS will be loaded to RAM. Okay, now, so iOS is loaded from the flash memory. Now if it is 0x2102, the startup configuration, the running configuration is saved as the startup configuration to the NVRAM. So the startup configuration is loaded from the NVRAM to the RAM. Getting it? Now then the router goes to the working state. Now if at all the value is not 0x2102, but if the value is 0x2142, if this is not the value but if this is the value, then also the iOS will be loaded from the flash memory. Okay, the iOS will be loaded from the flash memory, but even if you have saved the configurations, it will not be loaded. Even if you have saved the configurations, it will not be loaded. It means the startup configuration is skipped. The startup configuration is skipped. Skips loading the startup configuration even if it is present in NVRAM. Okay, so if you skip the startup configuration, it will ask us to enter into the initial setup, because without the configuration we have loaded it. It will ask us to enter the initial setup and we will give no, then we will give no. Then without the configuration the router will load. Clear? Getting it, guys? Okay, so let me compare it with a game. Suppose you are playing a game, NFS game. You are playing a NFS game. Suppose you have played till level 10 and you have saved it. You have played till level 10 and saved it. So this time when you take, say, they'll ask us to resume the profile or go for the new game. Okay, so if you are going for the resume profile, then say the games will be loaded, and along with that, say you have saved your configuration or you have saved that your profile there, and say that profile will get loaded. That means up to level 10 you have played and saved it. From level 11 onwards you can play. Clear? Now if you go for the new game, then also the game is loaded. Okay, and the profile, say even if you have the saved profile, it will not be loaded. You will start from level 1. Clear, guys? So it will ask us to say enter the initial setup. It will again ask us to enter the name, the details and all. Okay, you might have played it. Okay, so say those who haven't played, I suppose you have understood. Okay, so it will ask us to enter the name or something. Then we say if you give no without even entering the name, you can log in. Okay, without even say some random say guest, you will able to log in and play the game. Clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so this is how the router works. And now let me tell you some more thing. So I told you, okay, so again just give me a moment. Okay, so now I told you that iOS will be loaded from the flash memory. What if the flash memory is not present, or the file or the iOS file in the flash memory is corrupted? Okay, or if at all some say while copying it is not fully copied, or suppose something had gone wrong or something, say something can happen, right? So if at all it is not loading, or if at all it is corrupt, or if at all it is iOS doesn't have the flash memory, then it will search for an external server. It will search for an external server. It means it search for an external machine, an external computer maybe, and that computer is called TFTP server. That's called TFTP server. TFTP means Trivial File Transfer Protocol. Trivial File Transfer Protocol. So it is something, say smaller version of FTP. That means you will save the backup and everything, all the iOS, the file, the backup and everything will be saved to this TFTP. So if at all the flash memory doesn't have an iOS, it will check for an external server. If it didn't find an external server also, then I told you the ROM consists of something called mini iOS. It consists of something called mini iOS. And this mini iOS, as the name itself suggests, it's a mini iOS. It means, say, the basic things you can do it in the mini iOS. The basic thing means in case of any errors, it help us to say recover the errors, or it will help us to load the new iOS and all into the flash. Clear? That's why mini iOS is used. And if you load mini iOS, it is called ROM mode. It is called ROM mode. Getting it? Doubts? Okay. This is it, guys. So this is how the router goes to the working state. Now let me tell you, now the router we have turned it on. Okay, now shall we go into the router? Okay, so now a router can be accessed through, I told you it can be accessed through 3 ways, or using console, or you can use the router, or you can configure the router using ports. You got 3 ports there: console port, auxiliary port and VTY port. So now let me tell you how to access the router through console port. Okay, so now suppose this is the router. Okay, and suppose this is the console port. Okay, now from this console port, say if you have a computer, so suppose this is your computer. Okay, so if you have a computer and suppose that this computer has a COM port, you have a COM port. This is the COM port. Then what you can do is, okay, so now from this console you can connect it to the COM port through a wire, and this wire is called rollover cable. It's called rollover cable. So it is used as a console cable. Clear? It means it is used to configure the router. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, now nowadays the computer doesn't have the COM port. If your computer doesn't have a COM port, let me tell you. So here you will connect the rollover cable. Okay, you will connect the rollover cable. Then from this rollover cable, let me tell you, so you will use a converter. You will use a converter. So suppose this is, okay, this is the converter. So this will convert it into it can be connected to the USB. It can be connected to the USB. Okay, so suppose you have connected it and connected to this USB port. Getting it, guys? Okay, so this is how we are gonna connect it. Okay, now so this is the rollover cable. And here you have the RJ45. Here you have the RJ45 connector, and here it is called the DB9. Okay, the console or the DB9 here. Okay, so DB9. It's called DB9 because it looks like a D-shaped thing. It looks like a D-shaped thing, and it has 9 pins. Yes, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Clear? That's why it's called DB9. Clear, guys? Okay, so now, so this is how we are going to connect. So now you have connected. So the first thing that you need to do is that you need to connect it physically. Means physical connection should be there, or physical, say this console port cable should be connected to our this thing. Okay, or the physical connection from console. Okay, and the second thing that you require is that in your computer you need to have a software. And that software is called terminal emulation software. Terminal emulation software must be installed in your computer. So examples of some terminal emulation softwares are PuTTY, TerraTerm, Secure CRT, SolarWinds PuTTY, etc. Clear? Okay. So any software you can use. What I use is PuTTY. PuTTY is what I use. Clear? So now let me take PuTTY. Okay, or first let me connect the, connect it physically. Okay, so now say I suppose the offline students only can see, the online students are not able to see. So let me first take the yes guys. Okay, so or let me take, okay, what is second one? TerraTerm. 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 Okay, now let me, yes, okay, so now sorry, okay, so now guys, let me show it to you, or I suppose I already have the figure. I might be having the figure here. Not this one. Still need TERRA. So you have it here. Okay, somewhere. Okay, it's TERRA TerraTerm. Okay, yes. Now yeah, so guys, let me expand it. Not sure whether you will be able to see it clearly. Okay, so this is the console cable. This one is the console cable. So from the console, what you're going to do is that, yes, you will be connecting it to this console cable. RJ45 connector will be connected to the console port. Okay, so now this one you have connected, it goes like this, and this is the COM port. This is the COM port, or this is the DB9 connector. Okay, so now if you don't have DB9, we'll have the converter and we'll then connect it to USB. Clear, guys? Okay, so let me connect it physically. Okay, so just give me a moment. So guys, later you can take a look. Okay, this is the cable here. Okay, so now let me connect it. Yes. So I've connected, just a moment. I've connected it to the console. Later you can come and check. Okay, I've connected it to the console, and let me connect it to the USB. Okay, this is the USB end and this is the connector. Okay, so I'm gonna connect it to the USB. So connected it to the USB. Okay, now let me now take the, so I've connected it physically. Now what I'm gonna do is that, where is it? Yes, so I've connected it physically like this. Then so the physical connection is okay. Now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna take the terminal emulation software, which is PuTTY now. So let me take PuTTY. So this is PuTTY. Okay, now say, okay, this is PuTTY, and let me magnify it so that you can see it. Magnify. Okay, and now let me tell you, so this is the PuTTY, and what you're going to do is you are going to click onto the serial. You're going to click onto serial, and it is asking for the serial line or the COM port. Okay, so now you need to change the COM. So this by default will be COM 1, but for my computer it will be another COM port. So let me search which COM port I have connected. Okay, for each computer and for each port the COM port may differ. Okay, so let me first check which COM port I need to connect. Okay, so for that I'll be taking run first. I'll be taking a run. Okay, run. So where I'll be going to device manager. I'll be going to device manager. The command is devmgmt.msc. Okay, now after going to the device manager here, you will go to ports, COM and LPT. You can see COM and LPT. So here you have multiple COM. COM 5 is there, COM 8 is also there. So I am confused which COM port it is. So I'm gonna, yes, I'm gonna just say plug it out. And again, so when I plugged it out, only COM 5 is there. Now again I'm gonna plug it in. Okay, so when I plug it in, you can see COM 8 has come. So that is the confirmation that this is the COM 8. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is that, say I will be changing this COM 1 to COM 8. I'll be changing the COM 1 to COM 8. Then again you will check the speed is 9600 or not. The speed is 9600 bits per second or not. Now again you're gonna check this serial here. To the left side you got serial. You're gonna check serial, and again you're gonna check whether it's COM 8 or not. Serial line is connected to COM 8. The baud rate should be 9600 bits per second, and the flow control should be set as none. The flow control should be set as none. These are the three things that you need to keep it in mind when you are going for the serial or the say console connection. Clear?
Yeah.
Then you're gonna click open. You're gonna click open. Okay, so now just let me close this one, the magnifier. Just give me a moment, guys. Sorry. So now the COM port has come, or say we have clicked open, but we are not seeing anything. Right?
It is switched off.
Yes, because the router is still switched off. So if I turn on the router, you might hear some say fan sound and all. Don't get afraid, it's just fan. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the power supply, or say here you got a switch for the router. I'm just gonna turn it on. Okay, so if I turn it on, then you can see many things coming. Okay, so at first they'll be again checking the ports, whatever things that's needed to be done, it will be done in the router. Okay, any doubt so far? Okay, so then I'll give you a break for 5 minutes, because the router to load or to like booting, it will take some time. some 5 minutes, 10 minutes it will take. So by the time you can just take your break and come back. Okay, so just let me tell the time here. We'll get back at 6:33. Clear? So guys, I suppose everyone's back from the break. Yes. So now let me tell you. Okay. So here, so we have gone into the router. Okay, we have gone into the router. Now you can see, as I'm into the router, you can see something like this, Panther hash, or it will be the router hash. The router hash. Okay, it means you are in the, say, the very first mode of the router. You are in the very first mode of the router, which is called user execution mode. User execution mode. User execution mode. Clear? Now you are in the outermost mode of the router. By this symbol, greater than symbol, it means you are in the user execution mode of the router. Okay. Now if you want to enter into the router, or if you want to enter into the second mode of the router, or the inside mode of the router, you can give the command enable. You can give the command enable. Okay, but just give me some time, guys, just a moment, because it is already having some configurations here. Let me now just give the command and type something and also do something. Okay, so for now, just okay. So don't consider those things, later you will understand what it is. Okay, so now you can see the Panther greater than symbol, it goes like this again. Okay, so you can see the Panther greater than symbol. Okay, now you will execute the command called enable. Oh, again, just give me a moment. So now the same thing, the same old thing, and now it will not show. Okay, so enable command. Okay, now if you execute the enable command, you can see Panther hash, or now you have moved into another mode, and this mode, or the second mode, is called privilege execution mode. Privilege execution mode. Privilege execution mode, or it is also called enable mode. It's also called enable mode. Okay, so enable mode here means you are using the command enable to get into this mode, and that's why it's called enable mode. Clear? That's the second mode. Okay, now you got one more mode for the router. You got one more mode for the router. So you will go to the, say, or you will type configure terminal. You will type configure terminal, and then you can see you will move into the third mode. Okay, which is called, here you can see you have moved into another mode, Panther config hash. So this is called global configuration mode. It's called global configuration mode. Global configuration mode, the third one. So the outermost mode, let me tell you. So the outermost mode is called user exec mode, user execution or user exec mode. And again inside you have privilege execution mode or privilege exec mode. What is it? I thought even I heard some sound. No idea. Okay. Now the third one is called global config mode. Global configuration mode. So now let me tell you, the global configuration mode is where you're going to do all the configurations. This is where you're going to do all the configurations. Clear? Okay. Now again let me tell you, so I'll tell you the configurations. We'll start the configurations. Before that, let me tell you, so this, now that I've taken a real router, so if you have real router, and I suppose nobody is having real routers and all in your home, Okay, the enterprise routers, and it's like like say if at all you are a CCNA guy and all, you may purchase it for your personal use and all. If you are a CCNA guy and as you have started, I don't not at all think that you will have your routers and switches at your home. Okay, so now you really don't need any such cables. Okay, this rollover cable or nothing like that is necessary for you. Okay, so now what you will do is that if you want to practice the configurations, you got two softwares. First software is called Cisco Packet Tracer. It's called Cisco Packet Tracer. Cisco Packet Tracer. Okay, you don't have to download. I have already downloaded and will be sharing it to you. Okay, and the second one is called GNS3. Okay, GNS3. And the third one also you can do. It's called EVE-NG. EVE-NG. Okay, so the Cisco Packet Tracer for CCNA guys, Cisco recommends to do this in Cisco Packet Tracer. Okay, Cisco recommends to do this in Cisco Packet Tracer. That's just a software. You just need to install the software. That's it. You just need to install the software and later things I'll tell you. Okay, and GNS3, if you want to go in depth of networking, or if you want to capture the real-time packets, or if you are going for the CCNP level and all, you can install the GNS3 or the EVE-NG. Okay, so the GNS3 and the EVE-NG, so EVE-NG I'm not sure about it. GNS3 requires minimum 8 GB RAM. It requires minimum 8 GB RAM. Okay, so minimum, if you have minimum 8 GB RAM, you can install GNS3. Okay, now so installation of Packet Tracer is simple. Say just click on to the installation file and you can just click next, the usual software installation. Okay, and then when you take the Cisco Packet Tracer, it will ask us to log in. So what you need to do is that you need to go to, say, Cisco Networking Academy. Cisco Networking Academy. You need to Google it and you will get the link, https://www.netacad.com. You need to go inside. Okay, and again you need to click the login. Okay, and you need to sign up. Means you need to create your account. That's it. Okay, you need to create, say, where is it, sign up, and you can create your account here. Okay, once you create your account, then when you take the Packet Tracer, it will ask us to log in, give your credentials there. Whatever that you have like signed up, give the credentials and you will be able to log into Packet Tracer. Clear? Still, if you feel any issues, reach out to me. Okay, or again, if I don't know how to solve it, you can reach out to our lab instructor. Okay, who will be available in the 3rd floor. I'll share you the contact and all. Okay, now again, let me tell you. So here, so you can take the Packet Tracer. That's the first option. Now, and the second option is that I told you you got a software called GNS3. And you can install GNS3, say, if you have minimum 8 GB RAM. Okay, now installation of GNS3, again, let me tell you. Say drive, I'll share you the link. Okay, so I've already mentioned how to install the GNS3 in this video. I've already uploaded the videos and all, so I'll share the link with you. Okay, in the group I'll be sharing you the link. Okay, now so these files you can check and you can install the GNS3. Clear, guys? Now the next thing is that if at all you feel issues in installing the GNS3, again you can approach our lab instructor. Okay, so his name is Arun. Okay, let me just introduce him. His name is Arun. Okay, and I'll be sharing his contact details and everything in the WhatsApp group. Okay, and you can say he'll be working from Sunday to I suppose Friday. He'll be available from Sunday to Friday in the working hours. Okay, and you can approach him in installation of these softwares. Clear? Okay. So this is the thing that I need to tell you. So now again let me tell you, when you take, so again let me tell you, Cisco Packet Tracer is what Cisco recommends for CCNA students. So it's you can go with Packet Tracer itself, no issues. So all the configurations can be done in Packet Tracer. Okay, so this is the Packet Tracer. And when you take, a console will come which asks you to log in, and I told you how to log in and all. Okay, and after when you log in, you will have these things, and you can take the router magnifier. You can take a router here. Suppose now that I am taking this router PT, it's just a specific some models for Packet Tracer model, that's it. Okay, then you can click onto the router, you can take the you can take the CLI. Okay, then again let me say, oh god, again let me just window key plus minus. Are you sure? Let me, no, yes, thank you, even I didn't know that. Okay, so now, not even I didn't know that, I didn't know that. Okay, so now, so here say you can click on to no, you can click on to no or N here. So N, and you have reached the user execution mode. Then what you can do is you can type enable. So typing enable will make you go to the privileged execution mode. Then you can type configure terminal. Then you can go to global config mode. Clear? So this is how you will configure. Okay, so now, so here let me again take this router. So now you are in global config mode. So now can we start the config? Shall we start it? Okay, first let me tell you how to change the host name. So here the name of the router is Panther. So let me change it. Okay, let me change the name to some other name, suppose say lion or tiger. Okay, so to change the host name, so I told you all the configurations are done in the global config mode. So once again, but I didn't tell you how to exit also, so let me tell you that first. If you want to exit, you will give exit command. Okay, exit. If you give exit from the global config mode, you will exit to privileged execution mode. Again, if you give the command exit, then you will go to user execution mode. Clear? Yes. Okay, so exit, if you give exit at any point, you will get back to the previous modes. Clear? Okay. Yes? Okay. Now, so nothing, just asked it. So now, say again going back to the global config mode, so enable configure terminal, then you are in global config mode, where you will be typing, to change the host name, you will be typing host name. Host name space, then you will give the name. Say whatever name you want, you can give. Suppose I want to change the name to tiger, then I'll give the name tiger. So host name, then the host name. So if you give the host name, then you can see the name has changed to, from Panther to tiger it has changed. Clear? This is how you will change the name. Got it? Okay. Now the next configuration. Okay, so the next configuration is that, suppose you want to set a banner. Banner means it's just a message. Okay, so if you want to set, so banners itself, you got many types of banners. We'll be talking about this banner, say message of the day banner. Okay, so if you want to set the message of the day banner, you will go to the global config mode. And you will type something like this: banner MOTD, message of the day. Then you will type your message. Suppose entry restricted. Clear, guys? Okay, so but again let me tell you, you need to have, or you need to put a special symbol. Any symbol you can put, maybe a hash symbol you can put, @ you can put, any symbol, even the alphabets also you can put, so to say start, or to signify the starting and the ending of that message. Okay, so that means, say I am just pressing a hash here. That means, say if the router after this space sees a hash, it means, okay, the router will be, say, concluding that after the hash this message has started. And again you need to, say, press another hash, so that the router will think the message has ended. Clear, guys? Okay, so banner MOTD, then the entry restricted, this is the message. So this value, the starting and the ending symbol, this is called delimiting character. It's called delimiting character. Okay, now we have set the banner, but where to see the banner? Okay, yes, to see the banner we'll go to user execution mode. So what you're going to do is you will exit, again you will exit. Okay, then you will be going into the user execution mode, the first mode. So when you click or when you enter, you can see the message entry restricted. Clear? So this is how you will see the banner. Clear? Okay, now again the next command, enable configure terminal. So every time again you will have to type it like this. Okay, now again you are in the global config mode. Okay, so if you want to set the password, okay, so now previously you have seen a password is set, it has asked for some password and I have disabled it, right? So now let me tell you, if you want to set a password, okay, so the password, say previously you have seen the password while you, so sorry, it's user exec mode, okay, and privilege exec mode and global config mode. So previously you have seen the password, or you can set the password when you are coming from the user execution mode to the privilege execution mode. When you are coming from the user execution mode to the privilege execution mode, you can see the, or you can set a password. So this password which is set between the user execution and the privilege execution mode is called enable password. It's called enable password. So let me tell you how to set the enable password. We'll go to the global config mode. And we will type the command enable password. Then you will type the password. Suppose the password is, say, CCNA. The password is CCNA. You have entered it. Right. Now, so I told you this password will be asked when you are going, say, or when you are trying to enter into the router from the user execution mode to the privilege execution mode. So shall I go back and try to enter from user execution to privilege execution?
Yes.
Okay, so now let me go back, let me give the command exit. Okay, and again let me exit. So now I am gonna go from the, yes, now you can see I am in the user execution mode. Now if I type the command enable, so when I enter, you can see the password. This time the password is CCNA. So let me type CCNA. CCNA. I've typed it. Okay, but have you seen anything?
No.
It cannot be seen. Okay, because this password will not be shown. Okay, so even if you type anything, I'm just typing randomly, it can't be seen, and nothing can be seen here. Okay, so type the correct password and you will be able to enter. Say CCNA. Okay, now you are able to enter. Yes, clear, guys? So this is how you will enter from the user execution mode to the privilege execution mode. Clear? Okay, and the password set is called enable password. But again let me tell you, this enable password is not so strong. The enable password is not so strong. Okay, if you want to say this password, you can see it here. This password you can see it. So let me show it to you. you can see the, say I told you that these things, whatever you configure will be there in the running configuration. Whatever you configure, it is present in the running configuration. So it will be there in the running config. So if you see the running configuration, you can see all these things, configured things. Okay, you can see the banner, you can see the host name, you can see the password as well. So now let me execute the running config. For that, you will, to view anything, you will go to the privileged execution mode. To view anything, you will go to privileged execution mode and you will execute the command show command. Okay, yes, show running hyphen config. Show running hyphen config is the command. If you type show running hyphen config and press enter, you can see the running configuration. Shall we? Okay, now so you can see, yes, so show running configuration and you can see the host name, which is Tiger. Host name is Tiger. Okay, now the enable password is CCNA. I've said the enable password, which is CCNA. Okay, so I told you this enable password is not safe. Anyone can see this password. If you execute the command enable, say show running configuration, you can see this password. Clear? So that's not secure, safe. Okay, so let us configure a more secret password or a more secure password. Shall we?
Yes.
Okay, so now for configure, so again let me tell you, so before configuring that, we have just executed the command for seeing the running configuration. So this running configuration will be having several pages. Okay, it will be of several pages. In the production it might go up to 1000 pages and all. So if you want to see it page by page, you can press space bar. So you can see page by page. Okay, you can press the space bar. If you press enter, you can see line by line. You can see line by line. But we have checked whatever we need to check. So it's not necessary to say again see these things, unnecessary, right? So to break it, you can press any button. To break it, you can press any button and you will get back to the privileged execution mode. Clear? Okay. So now to set a secured password between this user execution mode and privileged execution mode, we'll go to the global config mode. That is where all the configs are done. So let me go to the global config mode. The command is configure terminal. Okay, configure terminal. So I moved into the configure terminal, the global config mode, where you will execute the command called enable secret. The command is enable secret. Then you will type the secret password. You will type the secret password. So the secret password here is suppose not CCNA, it's suppose it's Cisco. Okay, and that too it's capital Cisco. Caps lock is there. Okay, so these passwords are case sensitive. Okay, now if I exit and again if I exit, okay, now if I try to enter into the privileged execution mode, now I'm in user execution mode, I'm trying to enter into the privileged execution mode by using the command enable. Okay, this password is prompted. So now if I type CCNA, the older password, the enable password, it won't work. Okay, because much more secret or much more safe password or much more, say, you can say a safer password is being done here, and if you give that password only, that will work. Okay, so if I give CCNA, that will not work. Clear? But if I give CISCO, then I'm able to log in. Clear? And let us check if this secret password is safe or not. Okay, say let me take the running configuration. The command is show running hyphen config. Okay, when I check this, you can see the host name is Tiger. Okay, and you can see the enable password is CCNA. The enable password is CCNA, it's still there. But the enable secret password, what is it? It is some, yes, you can't read it. I have set the password to Cisco only, but now it is in unreadable or it is non-readable format, right? So that means, say this value or the password is encrypted here. It is encrypted. Getting it? And it is encrypted. So here 5 means it is encrypted using message digest 5 algorithm. It is encrypted using message digest 5 algorithm, MD5 algorithm. Clear? Okay. So this is how you're gonna set the enable secret password. Okay. Now one general thing. So you have set the password and all. Anything, all the configuration, any configurations you want, you can do it. If you want to revert it back, or if you want to delete the configuration back, you will go to the same old prompt. So now if I want to revert it, or if I want to delete the password, I'll go to the same old mode, that means configure terminal. I'll go to the global config mode and will type the same command, enable password, okay, or enable secret, and I can type a no in front of it. If I type a no in front of it, then the enable password or the enable secret password is deleted, it is removed. Okay, similarly, if at all I want to delete the, say, enable password, so I can give, say, enable password is a command, so I can give a no in front of it. So if at all you want to revert any command, you can give a no in front of that command, and that will get deleted or removed. Clear? So if I exit, if I exit, now if I try to log in, no password is prompted because we have deleted or removed all the passwords here. We have removed enable secret password and also enable password as well. Clear? Any doubts? Yes. Now if we want to change the password, let me tell you, say configure terminal. Okay, suppose I am setting the password enable secret, suppose Cisco 123. Okay, if I want to change the password, say give the same command. Either you can delete it and give a new password, or else if you give new password, it will rewrite the older password. Okay, so if I give the new password, enable, say secret, suppose I'm giving some other password, suppose hello 123. So now, so again, if I exit, if I type Cisco 123, CISCO 123, it will not work because the password have been reset as hello 123. So HELLO 123. Now it's working. Clear? So this is how you will change the password. Any doubt so far? These are the very, very small commands. Okay, again, so let me configure the, say, configure terminal, and let me delete the enable secret password. No, enable secret. Okay, and let me configure enable password as well. Enable password. Okay, so okay, no issues. Enable password. Okay, suppose I am specifying CCNA as the password. Okay, or CCNA. Okay, now again, say this password again, where is it? So here, let me just tell you. Okay, so this password is used to enter into the privileged execution mode. Now suppose you want to set a password even before entering the user execution mode. That means while accessing through the console, or while accessing through the auxiliary port, or while accessing through the VTY port, you need to access, or you need to configure, set the password. Then you will set the console password or the VTY password or the auxiliary password. Clear? So let me tell you how to set the console password. So now I have accessed the router through the console. I am setting the console password. to set the console password, I'll go to the console port. First, I'll go to the global config mode. I'm already in the global config mode. Now, if I want to set the console password, I'll go into the console port. So I'll go to the global config and tell like this: line console 0. Line console 0. Then you can see when I enter, I have moved into the console port. I have moved into the console port. Okay, there you can give a password. Confusing? Okay, say you can give a password. Suppose the password is password 12345. Okay, then you need to give the command login also. You need to give the command login. If you give only the password, if you exit completely and if you try to log in through the console port, still the password will not be prompted. You have to give the command login. If you only give the command login, then only this password will be prompted. Clear? Okay. Now if I exit completely, again let me exit completely, again exit. So you can see here Tiger console 0 is now available. I am trying to access the device through the console. So if I access, you can see entry restricted. The message is showing and they are asking for the password. They are asking for the password. So this time I can enter the password which is not CCNA. CCNA was the say privileged execution mode password or the enable password. So here I'll enter, what was the password? 12345. 12345. Now I'm able to enter. Now if I give enable, sorry, it's not enable W6. Okay. Oh, it's gone again. So guys, now let me tell you. Okay, so if I enter enable, this password is asked, which is the enable password. Okay, which is CCNA. I've logged in. Clear? Yes. Okay. Now, if at all you want to set the VTY password, again you will go to the global config mode where you will go to the VTY port. So the command is line VTY 0, 5 or 4 or 15. 0, 15. That means you can have 16 VTY ports. You can have 16 VTY ports. Let me tell you what is VTY. Okay, so console access you have already understood. So console you will have a console port. You will connect your computer to the console port. Okay, and you will configure it directly. That's the console access. That's what we are doing now. Now, suppose if the router is in US, and you are in India, to configure just a router, what do you need to do? You need to take a flight and book a flight and you need to go to US and do it. Is it possible? No. So for that, what you're going to do is you're going to access the router using VTY port. VTY means virtual teletype. It means you are accessing virtually. Or it's also called a remote access. Because you are sitting or the device is sitting in a remote location and you are accessing it. Clear, guys? So suppose this is the device which is in US, and suppose I can access the device through the VTY port. So actually this VTY port you cannot see it. There is no such physical thing called VTY port. It's just a virtual thing. You will study the later things. Okay, I mean the things later. Okay, so now suppose I am in India and I can configure it. Suppose our Sajin, he is in say Dubai, he can configure it. Suppose Deva, he is in Canada, he can configure it. Suppose say Vaman, okay, Anish, okay, Susmit, he is from say suppose whatever be the place. Okay, suppose he is in war location now. Okay, Ukraine. Okay, say he can access the device. Okay, so you can access the device in from any part of the world. Anyone can access the device and you can access it simultaneously. Okay, that means at the same time you can access. So if I am accessing at the same time, Sajin can access. At the same time, say Vaman can access, or Deva can access, or Susmit, anyone can access. So together 16 persons can access at the same time. Clear? So that is why. So each person will be logged in through each port, VTY port. So I may be logged in through VTY 0, and Sajin may be logged in through VTY 1, and say Deva might be logged in through VTY 2, like that. So together we are going into all the VTY ports. That's why we have given VTY 0 space 15. That means together we are going into all the VTY ports.
So we can give password for separate VTY line also.
Separate VTY also you can give, but you will never give that because you really don't know to which VTY port you are going to go. So it will be complicated for you. So what you're going to do is that you will configure the VTY password for everyone together. For all together. So here what you're going to do is that you will go into these VTY ports together and mention the password. Suppose 56789. Clear? Then you will give the command login, then exit. Clear? Now similarly, if you want, you can give the auxiliary password as well. So the auxiliary password you can give it like this: line aux 0, line aux 0. Then you can set the password suppose 45678, any password you can give, and then you can give login command exit. That's it. If you forgot the password, first thing is that you should never forget the password. That's the first thing.
That is deeper for everything.
Okay, yes, but again you shouldn't say, again let me tell you, whatever you configure, this backup will be taken. So first thing is that you should never ever forget the password. If at all you forget the password, in the production you might have taken the backup. So you can check the password. Clear? If at all you want to change it, you will log into the router through some, if at all the say VTY password is logged, you will have somebody at the device itself. Say you will have a local technician, and with the help of local technician you will take the console, and then the console password, through the console password you will log into the router. Then through the router what you're going to do is you're going to configure it, the VTY password separately. Clear? Okay, again this happens sometime. Okay, so now I suppose you have got it. Okay, so now again let me tell you, these passwords, the VTY password, auxiliary password, or the enable password and all, again these are not you can say not so secure password. Okay, again you can see these things. Show running -config. Show running -config. So you can see where is it? Enable password is CCNA. Okay, and you can see the other passwords as well. Console it is 12345, auxiliary it is 45678, say VTY it is 56789, like that you can see it. Clear? Okay, so now let me tell you what you can do is that you can enable a service to encrypt all the passwords. So you will go to the global config mode, where you will type say the service, which is service password -encryption. Service password -encryption, which will encrypt all the passwords. Clear? If you check it now, show running -config. See, or let me just tell you, the command is show running -config. If you want to customize it, you can give it like this as well. Say include password. So you can see all the password. It was enable password, which is like encrypted now, and this might be the console password, which is also encrypted. The VTY password is also encrypted. The auxiliary password is also encrypted. All the passwords are encrypted now. Clear? Okay, so this is how you will encrypt the passwords. And now again let me tell you, so again you can go for another level of encryption. So this is standard 7 encryption, which is much more secure encryption. You can go for some more levels of encryption, maybe encryption level 8 or encryption level 9 and all. You can again still go for, say, the newer devices will have much more encryptions. Okay, you might use some other algorithm called SHA algorithm and all to encrypt the, say, to encrypt these things, the passwords and all. Clear? Okay. Now, password for encrypt, command for encrypt all passwords. So you can say this is the service. Okay, where is it? Just give me a moment. Yes, this is the command, service password hyphen encryption is the command. Okay, yes. Now let me tell you the next thing. So here everyone has got a single, say, password. Suppose I am logging through the console, or Deva is logging through the console, or suppose, or say Deva is logging through the VTY, or I am logging through the VTY, or Sajin is logging through. Everyone will have the same VTY password or the same console password. So if at all you want to give different username and password, okay, again, what is the password? Say hello 123, hello 123. No, what was the console password, guys? 12345. Okay, so enable, this is Cisco 123. No, Cisco. No, this is the enable secret or enable password, even that we have encrypted. Okay, CCNA. Okay, now, so suppose to set the username and password, and through that credentials you need to log in. If that is your requirement, we will create the username and password. We'll create the username and password. So we'll go to the configure terminal. You'll go to the global configure. Okay, global config mode, and you will create the username and password. Suppose the username is suppose Bharat, and the password is suppose Bharat123. Okay, now the next username is suppose Deva, and the password is, say, Deva123. Okay, and suppose the next username is Sajin, and password Sajin123. Some random passwords. I'm just giving some, say, random username and password. That's it. Now again, you have configured the username and password, but you have to set this username and password in the console, so that it will be asked while logging through the console. Clear, guys? For that, I'll go to the console line, console 0. Then I'll give, instead of login, I'll give the command login local. It means I need to log in through the console, not using the console password, but using the local credentials configured in this device. Clear? So what are these local credentials configured in the device? These are the configs, or these are the username and password, or the local credentials configured in the device. Clear? Okay, so now let me exit, and again let me exit, and again let me exit. So now I am trying to, say, configure the device using console. Tiger console 0 is now available. So if you want to configure, then, or you are accessing through the console, so now the username is prompt. Clear? Now if I give the password, suppose Sajin123, and the password is Sajin, sorry, the username was Sajin. Okay, so again, okay, invalid. So if you give the wrong ones, they'll give invalid. Now, so Sajin, and the password is Sajin123. Now you are logged into the device. Clear? And again, if you execute enable, it's CCNA, which is the privilege mode password, or the enable password. So you have again logged into the device. Clear, guys? So these are the basic configurations. Okay, so this is the config. So now that we have started the configurations today, you can install the software. So either you can install the GNS3, or you can go with the packet tracer. So packet tracer is sufficient. If at all you want to go in depth, or if at all you want to, say, configure more things, or configure in the sense like go like check the packet, capture the packet like that, then you can go for the GNS3. That's not mandatory. Clear?
Will the commands vary for
No, nothing. Not allowed. The commands will be same. Okay. So guys, I suppose you have Got it. So tomorrow I'll be teaching you the show commands and all. So first I've already told you one show command. Right, yes. Show running -config. Okay, to view the running configuration. The next show command is show users. Show users, to view the users. So show users, you can see through the console who has logged in. Sajin has logged in. Clear? That's it. So again, if at all somebody has logged in through the VTY port and all, it will be shown here. Show users. Clear? Okay. So the later things you will study tomorrow. Okay. Any doubts? Okay. Anything you want to ask or anything you want to say, something? Any concerns? Okay. So, sorry? No, tomorrow you don't have class. Okay, tomorrow is a leave and day after tomorrow is also a leave. Only on Monday you will have class now. The classes are from Monday to Friday. Not Thursday, Friday.
Friday's leave right next week.
Next week, Fridays. Okay. So don't generalize it. We have classes from Monday to Friday. Only 18th we are having holiday. Okay, yes. So let me stop recording.